because I refuse to not be first.
Do we do enough? Well, I never shut up about it.
Must have been about 16, 17. We nicked their guilt rings. Right, the bouncer's guilt ring.
This is no good for me. That's the reality. If you want the honest truth, and I see it every day.
Dear sir, it's KUGAN CASSIUS for hold on, your head's a bit small. Hold that. Yeah. KUGAN CASSIUS. Do you know what? It's actually a pleasure to interview in person Johnny Nelson. We've not really done an interview in a while.
Because you've got about 15 million people working for you. You guys have got that big.
I've got 5.
Whatever. And I'm like you like the CEO of like a country, man. You got that many people working for you. Well, I understand. That's how we roll. So it's nice to see you working, brother.
Okay. It was always going to be a difficult night in terms for Chris Eubank. His career was pretty much on the line tonight. 2 back-to-back defeats against Liam Smith. I'm not saying he should retire after that. I'm saying that's the predicament he was in. Going tonight, a lot of pressure for Chris Eubank, but he pulled it off tonight, and he looked good doing it.
Yes, he did. So let's be honest, and let's try not to be Nostradamus. 90% of the people never thought Chris would be able to do that, and I was one of them. And Chris showed me nothing in the first fight in January to make me think he could change anything about this fight.
You were wrong, sorry, that's what you're saying, you were wrong.
I was wrong, like most 90% of people. But the same way we slagged him down, mocked him, give him a hard time for him saying it was a punch and a miracle, blah, 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 blah. The same way we got to give him credit. Give credit where credit's due. So we're not talking about, maybe Liam wasn't right, this, that, and the other. The way he beat Liam, he beat him up eventually and beat the fight out of him. And again, so now you're going to look to Chris and say, you know what, Chris, credit where credit's due. Give him that respect, the same way we gave him that and gave him a hard time. I think for Liam will struggle to lose to another, losing to another domestic fighter, especially like that. So do not be surprised when we go into the press conference out there or in a few days' time, Liam says, "No, I'm out of this," because Liam has been at the top of history. He was a world-class fighter, and then slipped a little bit. And even though he slipped, he beats most fighters. But for him to lose to another domestic fighter, that's hard to swallow. For him to lose to Chris the way he did, it's almost impossible for him to swallow because he's got a lot of pride. So don't be surprised if Liam said, "No, I'm done." I don't think he'll take other options. I don't think he'll even look at it like that because that hurts his pride too much. Chris did an amazing job, turned it around. Chris showed discipline, strength. He was one step ahead of him in every department. Kept throwing the uppercut, kept missing, and eventually got it. He knew what he had to do. He just settled down and stuck to the basics. Did Boat make a difference? The only difference I believe he could have made was getting his mindset right. I don't think he could have taught him anything physically in 4.5 weeks, but it's about getting the mindset right.
Just finally, obviously Conor Benn was here today, very vocal. That fight now is definitely back on the table, isn't it? I mean, it fell out of bed, then it was...
I'm sorry, I thought it was always on the table. I said if Chris lost tonight, that fight was still on the table. He'd have just been...
You know what, true. People are not allowed to hear that, but it's probably true, yeah.
He'd have been the B side, but now he's the A side. So that fight's always on the table. And so even before this, the conversation was went in. I'm like, he ain't going to retire. He's not going to be there. You've got 2 iconic names in our sport. The sons are fighting each other. So it was always there. So I don't know what the situation will be in regards to Conor's license, where that fight will be held, or what. But it will more or less happen. I don't doubt that at all. But, when he's ringside, it was like the Sharks swimming around thinking, right, I want a piece of this. Chris is now in the driving seat in regards to choices. And he's in his dressing room now, and he can put 2 fingers up to everybody and anybody because, he deserves it because since January, he's been roasted. He's been absolutely roasted. So you've got to give him this time in the sun, give him the glory.
Okay, listen, we all want to go home. But it was good to speak to you, good to see you. I kind of miss you, I suppose.
I miss you too.
A little bit.
I miss you too, man. Been a long road. Got a few more grey hairs, but you still got your hair on your head.
I've still got my hairline, which is more than I can say for you.
Why did you go there, man?
That's how we do shit. Johnny Nelson, respects. I'll see you at the next one. Mama? Mama, I told you he swears.
Refuse to not be first.
Do we do enough? Well, I never shut up about it.
It must have been about 17. We nicked their guilt rings. Right, the bouncers' guilt rings.
This is no good for me. That's the reality. If you want the honest truth, and I see it every day,